Hello friends, and welcome back into Cosmere Catchup. In today's episode we are going to be discussing, let me get them, Words of Radiance and Edgedancer. These are books 2 and 2.5 of the Stormlight Archive. I'm going to do like I did with Way of Kings. We're going to do both my spoiler-free and my spoiler reviews. So, just to give you a little recap, if you forgot, the Way of Kings was book 1 of the Stormlight Archive. We follow 4 main characters, I want to say, because you have Shallan, Kaladin, Dalinar, and then Adolin. I would argue that he's one of the main characters. Anywho, we follow those 4 in their journey to figuring out kind of the consequences of life and war and what it means to be a human. And then in Words of Radiance, I genuinely don't know how to summarize this book without spoilers, because 1, it's a second book in a series, but 2, like, it's just insane. Yeah, this book was literally crazy. I had such a good time reading it, just to be honest. It is so heavy though, so if I don't hold it up a ton, that's why. But anywho, let's see. Spoiler free. What happens? So in Words of Radiance, we follow Kaladin through his new journey and role as being a kind of protector. He has been hired on to be one of the guardsmen for Dalinar and his sons. We follow Adolin as he kind of explores his new role as like head of the war. His dad is kind of backed down a little bit. We follow Dalinar, his dad, after he is kind of backed down and come to grips with the fact that maybe he's not cut out to be, you know, this strong, insanely powerful war leader anymore. And we follow Shallan. She is trying so hard to journey to the Shattered Plains to reconnect with the people that she thinks could give her answers to all of the questions, and her and Jasna are trying to get answers to their research and warn everybody about the things they believe are coming, because the ending of Way of Kings, they definitely find out some things that they're going to want to share with the rest of the people. And so in Words of Radiance, we follow these 4 characters kind of as they, you know, continue to grow and explore and kind of come to terms with themselves. I will say Dalinar's journey in this book, even though it takes he kind of takes a step back in this role. I believe I read somewhere a statistic says he's only like 8% of this whole book, which is crazy. His journey, I feel like, is so impactful. He's trying really, really hard to reconnect the Knights Radiance. Like I said, Shallan and Kaladin are obviously doing crazy things. And yeah, it's basically a giant journey. This book is crazy. It has some phenomenal fight scenes in it. There are 2 in particular that I feel like are just these scenes. Like, if you've ever heard anyone talking about Stormlight Archive, they're probably at some point mentioning those scenes. There are so many Cosmere cameos in this book. Just so much happens. Oh, Seth, he's another one of our main POVs. He's like this hired assassin who is currently on the hunt for Dalinar, and that is part of why Kaladin has been hired to help protect Dalinar and his family. They kind of have an inkling that an assassin might be out for them because Dalinar is the uncle of the king. But yeah, we follow all of their POVs as they try to figure out what's next for them and try to find answers for their many questions. But yeah, there are epic fights, there are cameos, there's a little bit of romance. I'm obsessed. But my spoiler-free rating is a 5 out of 5 stars. This book was so good. It did take me a really, really long time to read it, but that was a me problem, not a book problem. Once I got to like page 400, I was like, nope, we're just gonna have to sit down and read basically the rest of it back to back to back, and I'm so glad I did. The ending of this book was crazy. So many things happen, and I'm really excited to talk about the spoiler section, but let's go ahead and quickly discuss Edgedancer. Also, earlier I definitely think I called it Dawn Shard. I read Edgedancer. Anywho, Edgedancer follows this character named Lift, who we meet at the very end of Words of Radiance. She's one of the interlude characters. And Brandon, in the back of Edgedancer. I keep wanting to call it Dawn Shard for some reason. He talks about how he felt like since Lift becomes kind of an important character later in the series, he wanted to give her her own story so that you can kind of see her background and explore her as she, you know, becomes who she is. Like, he wanted you to be able to see that journey. And also, there is a character that's featured in this book that is in the rest of the Stormlight Archive that he kind of wanted to, like, give a little bit of context of their feelings in Oathbringer. That being said, this book was very boring. My review, I think I literally put like, Brandon, I'm sorry, but what was this? The first 60 pages, which granted, this was like a physical copy issue. I didn't have to get the physical bound copy because I believe this is the one that's in the Arcanum Unbounded. But, you know, the first 60 pages are literally just the interlude. Why would you do that? And then, my major issue with this story, which I guess is kind of getting into spoilers. I'll put a spoiler warning. This is like kind of spoilers, not really, I don't know. Liv just feels so childish to me. Like, her story was very, very repetitive and very, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, the language Brandon Sanderson was using just seemed so kid-like compared to the rest of his writing. And I really didn't like that. There were just a lot of lines in here. Like, she basically says a lot, like, instead of saying, oh, my power, she says, oh, my awesomeness. Like, my awesomeness. Or, like, I don't know. That being said, I do have quite a lot of tabs still, because there was a lot of lore drops. And there's also quite a lot of beautiful lines. But yeah, overall this was just kind of repetitive. I don't even remember like specific examples because I really just tried to black this out of my head. That being said, it was an incredibly fast read. Like, I think I read this in literally like one sitting. So I do still think it's important of a read, but I just didn't love it, which is kind of a bummer because I've loved like literally everything he's written. But yeah, I don't know. It's really, really hard to talk about this book when I, like I said, don't remember anything from it because I blacked out. But I just do remember it was really repetitive, and Lift, like, as a character, some of her thoughts are a little crazy. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe her, but anywho, I read it. I rated it 3 stars. I'm ready to move on to Oathbringer. Oh, also, I discussed it in another video. I can't remember which one, but I did go ahead and splurge and get all of the Brandon Sanderson hardcovers. So this is my new updated collection. Up here we have the Secret Projects and Stormlight and the little Stormlight novellas. And then just some miscellaneous merch, like my pins, a mini sword, etc. And then down here, this is the newest portion. This is Elantris, Arcanum, Warbreaker, Mistborn novella, Mistborn Part 2. And then I found the, what is this called? The Skyward series. Found all of those pretty cheap, so got those 2. Really happy with how this is looking. Obviously I have my little Nightblood. I love him so much, but yeah. This is my updated collection. Nothing too serious. I'm really, really pleased with it though. That being said, once I get, you know, the next couple books, I guess we'll just have to see what happens. Also, because of how I've been tabbing my books, there's no shot Oathbringer fits back there. So, I guess we'll see what happens there too. Might have to either get rid of the box or put it somewhere else or do something, but yeah. I'll probably eventually fold these in so that I can fit Isles of the Emberdark. But anyhow, this is her. I'm really happy. But okay, this is your official Words of Radiance spoiler warning. Anything I say after this is like full free reign spoilers. So if you have not read Words of Radiance yet, thank you so much for watching, but go ahead and click out of this video until you have read it, because from here on out we're going to be discussing full spoilers. Guys, this book, literally insane. Like, what do you mean? Okay, so when I first started becoming a Brandon Sanderson fan, I always heard, you know, the phrase, honor is dead, but I'll see what I can do. And I didn't get it. Now that I get it, like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That scene was crazy. Shallan, let's back it up. Kaladin and Adolin finally, like, forming some sort of bond. Iconic. And then when Adolin just, like, voluntarily goes to jail for him, I'm sorry, that's crazy. I love Adolin so much. Actually, it, like, kind of hurts my soul. Oh, speaking of Adolin, that scene at the end of the book when he says, like, you know, my dad thinks I'm a good man, just like him. Unfortunately for you, I'm not. And then he just freaking, Sadius. Iconic. I'm a little nervous, though, to see the repercussions of that in Oathbringer. So I guess we're going to have to just keep reading to figure out what happens, because, yeah, what do you mean? And then, yeah, I just love all of them. Shallan and Jasna. Okay, listen. I knew Jasna was not dead. I just kind of knew that, okay? Like, I didn't know how she wasn't dead, but I did, in fact, kind of know that she comes back. Yeah. There's too many things about her that people talk about where I was like, yeah, this wasn't her whole story. And you know what? I'm so glad. And my jaw was still on the ground during that revelation of, like, their fight, them, like, getting robbed or whatever. Crazy. Shallan's journey in this book, crazy. My girl has some freaking trauma that she needs to go through, because her backstory, I love her. I genuinely think I love every single character in this book, which, like, is a problem, because I feel like there has to be somebody I don't like. I mean, I don't really like Moash. He's kind of crazy, and I called that back in The Way of Kings. But, like, even him, I still kind of like him. And, like, even the bad guys, I still kind of like them. And I really just love everybody, especially our 4 main people. I love them. Like that scene where Shallan and Kaladin are in the chasms, like the bridge breaks and they fall and they're together and they're both trying to hide their powers, but they're also, like, using their powers because they don't want to die. And then, like, he fights the chasm fiend and she protects him, and then they dig out the hole in the wall and they climb up to it and then they bond. Yeah, I love that. That, like, might have been the highlight of the whole book for me, to be honest. That scene was just so good. And I know that Adolin and Shallan are, like, gonna get married, okay? I know that. Thanks, Dragonsteel. But I already know that, okay? But I love Kaladin and Adolin. I didn't mean that. I read too many fan theories online, okay? I do love their friendship. I don't necessarily ship them. Maybe. I love Adolin and Shallan. That's what I meant to say. But I did kind of sense some tension there, and it's very obvious to me that Kaladin has some sort of feelings for Shallan. And it kind of makes me sad, especially now that him and Adolin are kind of becoming friends. Oh, and to go back to Kaladin, his fight with Seth, crazy. That was insanity. Absolute insanity. I'm so happy to finally know what scene that, like, statue, the statue of them, like, fighting, is from, because I feel like that's one of those iconic statues that, like, so many readers have on their shelves, that I'm really, really happy to finally, like, feel like I'm in on something now, you know, like, I'm in the know. Yeah. I will say, though, one of my mild complaints is I do think, I guess this is, like, kind of explained because it says that they all find each other, but one of my complaints is that all, like, pretty much all of our main characters are one of the Knights Radiance, like one of the Surge Binders. I do find that a little convenient, but again, there is, like, a saying that, like, they always find each other and they're trying to find each other anyways. It's just convenient to me that, like everybody we've already established a relationship with is one. I don't know. I have really mixed opinions about that. I lost all of my train of thoughts, to be honest. Oh, Seth getting Nightblood? That was crazy, because you know what? I knew Nightblood was going to be in the Stormlight Archive, okay? Like, I knew that. There was a reason everyone said read Warbreaker first. I didn't think it was going to be Seth that got him, though. I also, like, why is he not with Zahel anymore? Is that how you say his name? I don't know, but that's obviously Vasher. You literally cannot convince me that he is not Vasher. He talks about breath. You know what? Kaladin talks about breath a lot. There's something cooking here, okay? Warbreaker is like one of my favorite stories I've read so far in the Cosmere. And I'm really excited for Oathbringer, because now that Nightblood is here, I know that things are going to get crazy. Actually, there was a scene in Edgedancer where Seth confronts Lift. She's like hunting Nail? I don't know. She's hunting some guy who's in here. He's like one of the god-like people. I forgot what they're called. But Seth is like traveling with him, kind of acting as like a bodyguard almost. And he confronts Lift, and he's like about to attack her, and he unsheaths Nightblood, and he closes it, and he's like, the sword likes you, so I'll leave you alone. What does that mean? I need answers. That was not answers enough for me, okay? I need to know more there, because I feel like there is something. Also, does that mean that Nightblood is like technically a Sprin? But Nightblood is from the other planet, so like, I don't know. Anywho, Nightblood was my favorite character in Warbreaker, so I'm really, really excited. I also, like I said though, am a little confused. Like, I want to know the background of why he isn't with Vivenna and Vasher anymore. Yeah, I have so many questions. But I'm really excited to get to the answers. I think Oathbringer has potential to be phenomenal. That being said, I am really scared. I am hesitant. Like, I'm excited. I'm so excited to start it. But I am a little nervous, especially considering how much I've loved the first two books. And I feel like now, with the way this one ended, we're about to shift gears a lot. I think we are done exploring these characters' like personal growth, and I think we're gonna kind of jump more into like a Knights Radiant. I don't know. Like, I just think the tone's gonna shift a little bit. That being said, I do think the Parshendi and all of that is still an unresolved issue, and obviously they summoned that storm. And that's still an unresolved issue in itself. But I do think that the like general tone is going to shift. I think instead of being like personal growth in stories, it's now going to kind of be like everybody. Maybe not. Maybe I am wrong about that. But I just feel like everyone says that this book is peak. And I mean, they're right. But like, that then makes me scared to read the rest. Just to be real with you guys. Anywho, I am really excited. I'm just nervous. As of yesterday, though, I think, I'm recording this on, I think it's October 9th today. As of the day I'm recording, or as of 2 days ago, I guess, there's only 8 weeks left until, or was it 6? There's not a super long time until Dragonsteel Nexus. And considering this book alone took me like 5 weeks to read, I'm a little worried about the timeline I've set up for myself. But I'm also feeling determined. Like, what I have left is Oathbringer, Oathbringer, Dawnshard. I would like to read the first 3 of Mistborn Era 2 and Yumi. And that's my goals for before Dragonsteel. But I'm still reading other books. Like, I'm in other book clubs, and I have like my personal goals and all that. But all that to say, I'm really excited, and I'm really, really enjoying my journey so far through the Cosmere. And I'm really, really excited to see what's next. I feel like I'm missing some really iconic scenes, but I just can't think of them. Like with Warbreaker, I had so many theories and stuff, and this one I don't have a single theory. Like, I had a really good time, obviously. 5 stars, 6 stars, best book I've ever read, some of the best action scenes I've ever read, but I feel like I just, like, I don't... Something about this, I'm not as hyped as I was when I finished Wave Kings. Couldn't tell you why, though. That being said, the couple scenes I did touch on, phenomenal. But, anywho, thank you so much for joining me in today's deep dive. I hope you enjoyed it, and let me know down in the comments below what your favorite Cosmere read is. With that, I hope to catch you guys in the next one, and again, thank you so much for watching. I love you so much.